Hi everybody, today we're going to be covering tutorial 5 in Microsoft PowerPoint. We're going to be looking at tool options as well as the automation function. It's quite an important part of creating PowerPoint presentations, the automation function. And with the automation function, you need to be aware of some of the tools that are involved in order to create the automation functionality. But I'll give a quick bit of an overview as to what automation is all about. Essentially, when you are creating your PowerPoint presentations, you want to do it in such a way where the slides automatically move across. So, for example, your presentation may consist of 10 different slides, and you obviously, prior to your presentation, you would have practiced to see how long or how much information you're covering as per each slide. And based on how long each slide goes for when you're presenting, when you're practicing, you can actually set a timer on each slide. So that, let's just assume here that your first slide, being an introduction, may take 5 minutes for you to cover. After 5 minutes, you can put a timer on that so that the next slide automatically comes across, and you don't have to stop talking to then hit the next slide on your keypad. You do it in such a way where it automatically moves across. So that's the first part of automation. The other part is you can actually automate certain elements within your slide. So you may have various points within your slide, and you can automate the points to come across as well. So you'll, for example, start your presentation, you're covering the first slide, your first point will come across, and then you'll time yourself. For example, that point may take you a minute to talk about, and then after a minute, your second point comes along in the slide automatically. So you don't want everybody to see all your points. You want them to focus on each point as you're discussing them. You can also make other elements of your presentation or slides automated, such as you can have graphs or pictures coming across or appearing in your slide automatically, and you can put a timer on those as well. So it's quite an important concept, and enables you to be creative and create interest, because you want your presentation to be as capturing and as I wouldn't say exciting, but yeah, you can say exciting or interest. If you're able to capture the audience's attention by presenting information in a more appealing manner, you're going to be able to get your point across in a better fashion. So that's what this is all about. We're going to cover a few of the views first of all. So I'll get people to first of all open up the PowerPoint presentation that we're working on when we last met. My one's stored on the desktop over here. So the first thing is being aware of the Views tab over here. So the Views tab enables you as a presenter to view your presentation slides, the information. So what will obviously happen is that the audience will see your slides. But if we go to outline view, for example, the audience can see the slides, but what you can see is an outline of each of the slides and the points that are covered in each slide. So you know in advance what you're going to be covering, whereas your audience will, as we discussed just a moment ago, they'll have the dot points coming in based on a timer. But we know in advance what the next point is, and we can prepare for it, or we can introduce some information in lead up to the next slide. So this is quite an important view to have it on, which is outline view. The exercise asks you to go into the slide master. So if you go to view over here, and if we go to the slide master, this gives you some options of other views to have, and you can set this up so that you can have your outline view presented differently based on how you want it. So you can customize it in other words. So this is the outline view. Back over to here. Handout view. You may want to, for example, have your slides set up in such a way so that we discussed in a previous exercise, if you wanted to hand out your slides to the audience, you can design this handout view according to how you want the slides to be presented, and you can therefore use this to then print off your slides for your audience. So that's your handout view. Notes master view is another one. This is where you may want to design your slides to enable your audience to take notes. So once again, you can customize this to how you want it. So that's your outline view. But what we want is we want to come back to view, and we want to come back to normal over here, a normal view that we've been working on. The zoom over here, I believe it's very similar to Microsoft Word. It's straightforward. But the important concept that we want to talk about here is showing bullet points one at a time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick on the second slide, and we've got 3 dot points. And we want to do it in such a way that each dot point comes across when requested. That's what we're going to be practicing in this exercise. So to go about this, we need to first of all highlight the first dot point. And we want to go to animations over here. And we want to add an animation. And you've got different, concepts. You can do a fade, which is a typical one where it comes across. Now this one signifies that an automation has been placed onto the first point. So that's done. Now I'm going to click here. I'm going to create an animation for the second point. This time I'm going to make it a swirl. And come over here, and I'm going to do the third one, add animation, and we'll do a bounce one. Okay. Now, once that's done, we come over to the automation panel, and there's 2 ways of doing it. You can go over here and hit start from beginning, and you can go through each of your slides. And what I'm doing is I'm just pressing the forward arrow on my keypad, because I haven't put the timer on there yet. All I've done is I've just put an animation next to each of those points. So that's one way of doing it. That way you can see the whole slide presentation. So up here, and then hitting your next key on your keypad. The other way is if we just hit play from, it shows you each. It only refers to this slide that we're working on right now. Okay, so that's a first. Now we're going to set the timings up in a moment. So what I want people to do now is go through your other slides and do the same thing. So create or add an animation to what I did earlier. So simply click on that, highlight, animation, and just work through the other slides and set that up. Once you've done that, we'll then look at putting in the timers. Hi guys, let's continue with the animations. There's one small thing that I missed, the reorder animation. So if you wanted to reorder or put these in a different order as to when they come across in your screen, you can actually reorder them as well. So if you click on your animation panel, and then, for example, let's assume here that we wanted this one to come after the first one, we can move earlier, and then that way, for example, it just put places them into a different order as to when they come across. So that's one small thing that I missed. Now that's done. The other thing is the timing. So at the moment, for example, we've got a standard timing for our points. In the next exercise, we're going to look at the timing and how to change the delay, for example, or the duration and whatnot. Right now, they're just preset, so we'll leave it as is for now, and then we'll look at the timing of those in the next tutorial. But what we're going to cover now is the animation of each slide. So we want to set it up so that each slide comes across automatically based on a timer. So that's what we're going to cover now. All right. So first things first, we go to we'll click on the first slide over here, and then we'll go to transitions up here. And you've got once again some different concepts. We can have push for the first one, and at the moment it's defaulting to at the moment it's on mouse click. We want to change that, and we want to put it on a timer. So we're going to get rid of that mouse click and put it on the timer. And at the moment it's 10 seconds. I'm going to reduce that, make it 5 seconds. Okay. So I've done the first one in terms of the transition animation. I'm going to go to the second one. And same thing, take it off the mouse click, come over to here, and after 3 seconds, come over to the next one, same thing. Let's do reveal over here, and we'll give it a time of 2 seconds. Come over here, I'm going to change the second one to fade. I've already done that one, which is reveal, and we'll do shape for the last one. After, let's just say 2 seconds as well. Okay, so that's it. So we want to preview this, so we can go over here. So that just previews each slide. Okay, if we want to start from the beginning, we go over here. That's the first one. We wait for a few seconds. Okay, so that's what we've designed so far. We've looked at two concepts. We've looked at the animations, and that is animating each slide and bringing across the dot points to come across based on a certain timing. At this stage, defaulting, which we'll look at in the next exercise. We'll look at further customizing that, and we looked at transitions, which is referring to each slide how it transitions across. So what I suggest you do is there's a number of other design options here. You've got different effect options. Feel free to play around with this. You can't really go wrong. It's just a matter of playing around and seeing what other features you can stumble across. So yeah, that's tutorial 5. Thank you for listening.